Hey guys, welcome back to Path of Exile, and to my surprise, there's a new expansion coming out. I know, I just completely forgot about it. This one's called Sentinel. Let's see what's up. Let's see what they got for us this time.
In the wake of your power, something has arisen. Dark Sentinels, hungry for a share.
Okay.
But these cruel constructs can
What
be
the hell?
harnessed.
They follow you?
Take them, bind them to your will.
Oh boy. New mechanics. Did they actually deal damage?
Test and tinker, combine and reconfigure.
Oh my god. This is like some sort of a
And
rune
together,
system?
You will find your fortune. Some sentinels are powerful. Others are dangerous.
Oh. So
But
risk
in
and
a
reward.
world with shifting stars, monstrous new threats.
Uber pinnacle
And
bosses.
valuable
Oh shit, look at that
treasures.
arena.
You
Wow, that looks
will
cool.
need them. The sentinels await your command.
I did play last league. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. The new additions are pretty nice, especially the Atlas. I love it. But now apparently we got us like runes and stuff or whatever that was.
I'm
Let's see
sure
what's
you have
up.
a lot of questions.
Yes.
So let's get started with a full explanation of the upcoming Sentinel Challenge League.
Let's go, Chris.
Sentinels are ancient constructs that have been unearthed across Rayclast. In this league, you will collect these Sentinels and attempt to harness their great power.
Okay.
But this symbiosis is not without risks.
Yeah, that's it. Risk and
Once
reward.
deployed, a Sentinel follows you, watching and waiting for
Okay,
you to
it
enter
has like
combat.
a cooldown or something, or
As you encounter enemies, the Sentinel will fire a beam
Oh,
that
like
doesn't
it
damage
charges
the enemy,
them.
but rather empowers them.
that's
This not only
it.
amplifies the difficulty of the foe, but also the rewards that it yields.
I get it. I get it.
There are 3 classes of Sentinels that you will find as you kill monsters in this league. Stalker Sentinels will follow you for around 30 seconds, empowering dozens of monsters before they dissipate.
Cool.
This is like a build-your-own breach or delirium effect, because you control what monsters you're fighting when you deploy the Sentinel, and through
Right.
various means that we'll describe shortly, you're also in control of how much the monsters are empowered.
Oh. The combination
In contrast
thing,
to
right?
Stalker Sentinels, Pandemonium Sentinels are designed for mass area of effect, and typically only fire 1 shot. But this shot really counts, chaining between monsters to affect an entire screen full of foes at once.
That's pretty cool.
This class of Sentinel can be very dangerous because it empowers so many enemies at one time. The final class, Apex Sentinels, can only empower rare or unique enemies. They fire fewer shots but have a much larger impact on difficulty and reward.
Oh, plus it gives them the item
You
thing.
start with a single slot to equip a Stalker Sentinel.
Obviously,
But as you
currency
play
is going to
through
be
the league,
huge.
You can eventually unlock 2 more Sentinel slots so that you can have 1 Sentinel of each class equipped at a time.
Cool.
Each class of Sentinel can be deployed only once per area that you play.
Gotcha.
You'll
Once per
quickly
map.
develop various strategies for when each class of Sentinel is best used. For example, saving your Pandemonium Sentinel for when you're surrounded by monsters, or using your Apex Sentinel on the map boss or league content that spawns several rare monsters.
Gotcha. There's the currency
With a
one.
full
Oh, baby.
loadout of Sentinels equipped, in every map you'll get to empower bosses of your choice, juice up an entire screen at once with a button press, and choose the part of the map where it's best to empower a series of dozens of monsters.
Obviously, be looking for like
Sentinels cannot
the
be
biggest
damaged by monsters
packs.
in combat, but do gradually deplete their internal power supply
Right,
each time
okay.
you use them. They can be found as you play and are incompatible with traditional Rayclastian crafting techniques. However, new Sentinels with different properties can be assembled from the depleted husks of others that you have used until their internal power supplies ran out.
Corrupted too.
We'll explain
Okay.
that crafting process in more detail later on.
Powers 50 enemies.
You
Gotcha.
can find magic Sentinels that have mods on them. These mods can
They're all
augment the
corrupted,
base properties of a
so you
Sentinel,
can modify
extending
them.
its duration, making it empower monsters faster, increasing the number it can empower, or even the degree to which the monsters are empowered, affecting both their difficulty and rewards.
There's also a duration. Interesting.
Some mods will add specific drops, such as currency
Oh,
items, essences,
there you
or
go.
unique items. to
That's what I'm
monsters
talking
empowered by
about. The
Sentinel,
currency
but
reward.
at the cost of increasing
Obviously.
how difficult the monster is to defeat.
Can you trade these?
You can also occasionally find rare Sentinels that have more than 2 mods on them. These are generally quite a lot more powerful than normal or magic sentinels if you find the right combination of mods. The sentinels you find as you explore Rayclast will become more powerful. Some particularly powerful ones with special properties can
27
only
chance
come from the
to
process of
double
assembling new
doubled for
sentinels
the
from depleted
rewards.
ones.
Currency and doubled. Oh my
While
god.
the sentinels you find generally get better and better as you play
Yeah.
through the league, you can also upgrade the behavior and properties of sentinels
Of course.
through your Sentinel controller.
What you got?
The Sentinel controller is like a runic circuit board. It's what powers your sentinels and allows you to customize them. There are specific nodes for each of the 3 types of sentinel, so
Not
you can
consume
customize
charges.
the properties
Oh,
and behavior
man.
of all of them,
10%
or potentially
increase
focus on your
rewards.
favorite base types.
Okay, guys.
As you play through the league and kill more and more enemies affected by your sentinels, your
boy.
controller will gain power. You start with 4 units, which is enough to power your first sentinel slot and your first runic node.
What's the big
By
ones?
the end game, you are able to work up to 30 power units, which is
Okay.
enough for almost half of the controller to be powered at once.
Gotcha.
So how do you choose which runic nodes to power?
Yeah.
You do this by connecting them together with filaments. Power flows from the top of the circuit through the filaments until it is all in use by the
Okay.
nodes you have connected.
Okay.
You can set up filaments in advance.
Instead of
and
clicking
they'll
on the skill
automatically
point,
be
you
used
click
as more
like in
power
between
becomes
it, you know?
available.
Oh wait, how come
Moving
that didn't
filaments
work?
around has no cost. It's basically like a planning tool that gradually gets
Oh, I
activated
get
as
you,
you
get you,
gain
get
more
you.
power throughout the league.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool
you're not
though.
locked into a specific plan, and you
How
can
come that one
respec
had
for
2?
free
It
at any
requires
time.
2 filaments or what? Or 2 power
Some
slots?
powerful runic nodes require 2 filaments and hence allocate more of your power when activated.
I got you. I got you.
Additional sentinel slots for other types like Pandemonium and Apex Sentinels, for example, require 3 filaments and hence 3 power units each.
I see.
While it's almost always best to have all 3 slots powered so you can use all 3 sentinels per area, there are niche strategies where you want to unpower specific sentinel slots in order to have more power for additional runic nodes. Also that you can fully specialize in just 1 or 2 sentinel types. Just to reiterate, you can change your allocation as much as you like, so feel free to experiment.
Oh, that's pretty damn cool though. That's freaking awesome.
This powerful runic node allows Pandemonium Sentinels to be
Ah,
used
there
an
you go.
additional time each area.
Nice.
While this is basically pure upside, you should definitely plan around the fact that you'll be running their charge down pretty quickly if you use this node. This runic node prevents your Stalker Sentinels from empowering normal rarity enemies. While this seems very powerful at first because you'll just be empowering magic, rare, or unique enemies that benefit greatly from the boost to item drops,
Yes.
you should be aware that unless you have a large source of special enemies, you'll be fighting against the flight duration of your sentinels and will probably want to build around increasing their duration.
I see, I see, I see.
While the Sentinel controller lets you specialize how the different classes of sentinels behave, it's generally not necessary to have to modify it for each new sentinel that you equip. The runic nodes you have chosen represent your overall
Avoiding the notes on
strategy for
purpose
each
so you
class
can't
of
see what it
sentinel,
is.
but
Damn
they
you.
rarely need to be tweaked if you swap one sentinel for another. As you use sentinels in combat across a number of maps, they eventually run out of charge and will become depleted, but they don't need to be thrown away when this occurs. You can find power cores that let you assemble a new sentinel with a full charge. This process disassembles 2 existing sentinels and creates a hybrid of the 2, with their properties combined together.
That's good.
Right-clicking a power core opens up an assembly screen. If you insert 2 sentinels and click the assemble button, a new fully charged one
Okay,
will
I
be
get
created.
you. Okay. Has nothing to do with runes. It's its own thing, basically.
This process is a complex and unpredictable one that can either inherit properties from the input sentinels or potentially produce new ones that weren't based on either of them. For example, the base type of the sentinel could either be the left input sentinel, the right input sentinel, or an entirely new one that can't spawn naturally and can only come from this process.
Oh shit, okay. Unique properties.
The same applies to its modifiers. You generally get a mix of modifiers from the 2 input sentinels, but sometimes they have their tiers upgraded or entirely new mods added, occasionally including ones that are exclusive to the assembly process.
Again, with
The
the
end
unique
result
stuff.
is that you're
That's
usually
good.
getting sentinels that are similar in function to the depleted ones you have combined, but occasionally mutate in new ways,
Doubled.
producing results that unlock more power and possibilities. The best sentinels in the game will come from lucky combinations of depleted sentinels that have just the right mods.
Can you trade
It's
them?
also possible to assemble 2 sentinels directly into one of the many valuable unique sentinels.
Oh shit. What is this? 16 currency rewards, 10 to
Specialized power
20?
cores exist, which
Holy
influence the
shit.
assembly process to greatly increase the chances of various interesting outcomes occurring. They don't guarantee anything.
It was a
but
one-time use
absolutely
as
worth
well.
considering
So
if you're
use
trying
it,
to
that's
hit
it, it's
unlikely
gone.
assembly results. You may want to accumulate a small collection of depleted Sentinels so that you have options to assemble together. That's where the Sentinel Locker comes in. It's a free object that you can place in your hideout that allows you to store stacks of each of the Sentinel currency items, as well as a tab full of each of the 3 categories of Sentinel.
That's good. That's
You
good.
can also store Sentinels in regular stash tabs, and they can be freely traded with other players.
Oh,
The
well, there you have
Sentinel
it.
Locker's affinity for Sentinels will also work with regular stash tabs while
There you
this
have
league
it.
is
Time
active.
to make some money, you know?
As I hinted at before, you can find or create unique Sentinels. These have powerful static properties, but because they cannot be combined with other Sentinels, there's no way to recharge them once they become depleted.
I got
They
you.
are essentially limited use items with powerful effects.
Yep, that's what I said.
Let's look at a few examples.
Show me.
First off, we have the Basilisk. This is a Pandemonium Sentinel that augments its wide area of effect blast with a petrification effect.
Petrifies
Any
enemies for
monsters
5
caught in the blast
seconds.
turn to stone.
Wow.
Rather than being primarily useful for raising the risk and reward of combat like other
Yeah.
Sentinels, this one
CC.
is incredibly useful as an emergency button in combat.
Yep.
By activating the Basilisk, you can freeze most of the monsters around you in place, letting
That's
you
crazy,
take control
though.
of dangerous situations.
That's crazy, though. That's freaking cool.
This unique Sentinel, the Hollow-Eyed Skull, is basically a headhunter in Sentinel form.
It is. Oh my god.
There are also a set of
This is
unique
really
Sentinels
cool.
that are designed to empower specific named Atlas map bosses.
16 currency
If you
rewards. There
activate
you
one
go.
of these Sentinels while fighting that boss, it empowers the boss into an extremely dangerous version that is
Oh,
very,
really?
very rewarding if you can defeat it.
Can only
The
empower
highly empowered
Suncolor
boss fight
Asha.
is further scaled by whatever mods are on the map that contain it, so you'll want to be pretty careful with what mods you choose to use. On the other hand, its rewards are scaled by reward bonuses on that map, so if you're able to defeat one of these bosses in
Here
a
we go.
juiced map, you will certainly be greatly rewarded.
Still
These highly
garbage.
empowered map bosses are the best source of recombinators, a new type of
Oh
in-game
my
currency
God.
item that can be found in the Sentinel League.
Of course.
Recombinators allow you to apply the Sentinel assembly process to
Transformers.
2 pieces of equipment of the same item class, combining them together in unpredictable ways. This process can also rarely imbue your items with exclusive modifiers that don't normally spawn on that type of item.
Here we go.
While the recombination
You know it's
process
gonna go for a
involves
ton of
significant
money.
risks, you could combine the best parts of 2 rare items together, maybe getting a lucky exclusive mod spawn, and end up
Shit.
with one of the best weapons, armor pieces, or jewelry in Path of Exile.
An extremely
Sentinels
rare.
can be deployed while engaging in other league content, so you can juice
That's
the
good.
risk and reward to quite crazy levels.
That's cool.
For example, you could enter a mirror
Yeah.
of delirium,
Yeah.
trigger a breach,
Yeah.
and deploy your Sentinel at the same
We've
time,
all been there.
causing the monsters to have 3 significant modifiers to both their difficulty
We all
and
been there.
rewards.
Yep.
There are only a few specific areas that Sentinels can't be deployed in, mostly for technical reasons, and those are unique maps, pinnacle Atlas bosses, and the Simulacrum.
Okay.
So that's Sentinel in a nutshell. It's a
Gotcha.
combat league that gives you heaps of control over the exact risk and reward you encounter. It stacks with other combat-enhancing league mechanics, juices your endgame bosses beyond any kind of reasonable difficulty, lets you play with temporary headhunters,
That's good.
and might even let a few players assemble some pretty insane rare items.
Yeah, this is
if
gonna
they're
be
lucky.
insane.
We're very much looking
You
forward
know,
to seeing
something
the
going
stories
for
after
like
you've had a
100
chance to play
mirrors
with
or
it next
something
week.
on the auction house. 100 mirrors, like this extremely
In
like
addition to the
rare
Sentinel
item.
Challenge League, this expansion further improves on the new endgame introduced in Siege of the Atlas. Its
What you
Atlas-wide
got?
passive tree and pinnacle boss fights.
Show us.
The new endgame was designed to give you ultimate control over what kind of content you want to play and how difficult and rewarding you want it to be. With the Sentinel expansion, we are doubling down on what makes this new endgame the best one that Path of Exile has ever had.
Really?
This expansion introduces 20 powerful Keystone passives to the Atlas tree. As you
Oh.
know from the regular passive skill tree, Keystone passives are usually dramatic and build-changing, with both upsides and potential downsides. Each Keystone can completely change the way you play Path of Exile's endgame, and we have designed Keystone passives for many different playstyles and situations.
Can we see some examples?
The second big change is that we have introduced these clusters of passives that grant you even more control over what endgame content you encounter. As you know, you can encounter many different
Really?
types of past league content randomly
okay.
within maps.
So you can
These
actually
new
remove
passives
content
allow
you don't want to
prevent
see ever
content you
again.
don't enjoy from appearing randomly, while
That's pretty cool.
simultaneously causing other content to spawn at a higher rate.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Aside
cool.
from
Yeah.
the obvious convenience of only encountering the past league
Yep.
mechanics that you choose,
Yep.
the system is great for target farming specific content that you have juiced on your Atlas tree.
Nice. Good idea. Wow.
Thirdly, we have created incredibly difficult and rewarding Uber versions of 7 pinnacle boss fights, which can be accessed via 6 new Keystone passives. These fights are designed to challenge the absolute best Path of Exile players, and suffice to say,
Oh,
they are
boy.
brutally difficult.
I'm
Let's
triggered
take a look at
just
some of
seeing
the new
this.
Keystones and boss fights. The Singular Focus Keystone makes it significantly more likely that your favored maps will drop. If a map drops that is not one of your favorite maps, it will be converted into a random currency item.
Okay.
This means that you'll exclusively see your favorite maps, and outside of that, more currency. This is
Not
the
bad.
realization of the I only want to play one map dream that some players have. It also helps players who are over-sustaining maps and would rather just get extra currency items.
Mm-hmm.
The Stream of Consciousness keystone prevents you from modifying your maps with fragments or scarabs. That means that when extra content is being rolled for your maps, each of the base chances is 50% higher.
Weird, okay.
This is really useful for players who don't want to have to think about juicing their maps and would instead prefer to get a constant moderate bonus instead.
Gotcha, yeah.
The following two keystones are for very advanced players who have completed their Atlas trees and want to get a very specific outcome with all of their skill points.
Grant nothing?
The Wandering Path keystone increases the effect of small passives on your Atlas skill tree and disables all notable passives.
Interesting.
The Grand Design keystone increases the monster pack size in each of your maps by an amount proportional to the number of notable passives you have allocated.
Holy
However,
crap,
the trade-off
dude.
is that small passives have no effect.
That's crazy, though. Wow.
These two keystones are very good for specializing into maximizing pack size and quantity
Yeah,
at the
no
expense
joke,
of specific
man.
league content, which is great for general Magic Find builds or Divination card farmers. The Twist of Fate keystone changes the behavior of corrupted rare maps in unpredictable ways. Upon entering a map, you may be sent to an alternative map of the same tier with randomized modifiers. All of the master missions, scarabs, and Kirit crafts applied to the map will also be randomized.
Interesting.
This process will not pick an
Holy
outcome
shit,
that was already
interesting.
on the map.
You can
so
get
it
some really
always
crazy
shifts
shit
to a
that
new
way.
property that you didn't have
If
before.
everything's random, you might
This
get
means
real
that
lucky.
You can play all of the scarabs, master missions, and maps
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
enjoy,
yeah.
and any leftover ones can be randomized to new outcomes, which are guaranteed
So all
to
the
not be
garbage
ones
like
you
scarabs
started
and
with.
whatever, you can get
This
some
may
crazy
have some
shit
interesting
instead.
economic consequences as well, with players feeding bad scarabs or maps into the Twist of Fate lottery.
True, yeah.
The
Wow, it's a
Wellspring
lot
of
of,
Creation and Dance of Destruction keystones change the ratios of
lot of
monster
mods.
life and damage in maps on the Atlas, so that they are more dangerous and less tanky, or vice versa.
Weird.
These two keystones are designed to be remedial, allowing players with an abundance of offense or defense to normalize themselves so that they can handle the content better.
Huh.
If you find yourself in a situation where you're waiting for a weapon upgrade or can't fix your resistance,
Yeah, this is very,
you could allocate one of these keystones to
casual
temporarily
friendly,
make
you
things
know?
easier, before unallocating it later when your build is complete.
Yeah. It's okay, whatever, you know? Can everything be endgame?
6 new keystones create uber versions of Path of Exile's pinnacle boss fights. Benarius, Cyrus, the Maven, the Searing Exarch, the Eater of Worlds, and the Shaper and Uber Elder, who I guess is now called the Uber Elder?
True.
Allocating one of these keystones on your Atlas passive tree ramps up the corresponding boss
Level
fights so that
85.
it's extremely difficult.
Full power.
Like, really hard. Harder than saying goodbye to
20%
Xana hard.
awakened gem.
Only allocate these keystones if your
Yeah,
character is
Xana's
extremely
gone.
powerful
For now.
and you know you can handle the challenge.
Jesus
In
Christ.
general, the encounter's rules are modified to be far more punitive and difficult.
Wow.
In return, though, you can earn
It's
some
faster
very
too, I think.
enticing rewards.
Oh, it's definitely faster.
Each of the Uber fights has an additional high chance reward and a chance of getting a very, very rare chase reward.
Oh.
For example, the Uber Maven guarantees an elevated sextant if you're able to complete the encounter. Very rarely, though, you may be able to earn an awakened exceptional support gem as well, such as Empower, Enlighten, or Enhance.
Holy crap.
These keystones unlock
That's
crazy
gonna sell
battles that will
for a
challenge our most
lot of
aspiring
money.
players who are deep in Path of Exile's endgame. They add a new level of difficulty for those who want to push their builds even farther than they ever have before. The keystones we have shown you so far are designed around many different types of endgame players. Some glass cannon players struggle with defenses but have no problem with offense. Some players want to just play one map. Some players want the difficulty to be ramped up and to receive rewards commensurate
More
with this added
options are
challenge.
always good, man.
The keystones also let you identify a specific reward, type of content, or playstyle and know exactly how you can get the most out of it.
Yeah. So that's good.
There are a number of other new keystones that we'll reveal before release. Like the ones we have shown you today, these keystones require you to consider your endgame plan in an entirely new light. We're very interested to see what strategies you will use to try to conquer the new Uber Pinnacle bosses. Before we get into the new unique items, there are a few other endgame Atlas changes that we should cover. We are removing Vinctar's Square and Doyani's Machinarium from the Atlas of Worlds because they are not natural map drops. You can still get and play these maps, of course, but they aren't counted for your overall Atlas completion anymore.
That's good.
Their
So,
Atlas
whatever.
passive points have been moved to
It's
rewards
good.
for defeating the Infinite Hunger and the Black Star.
Cool.
We have rebalanced influence altars and maps. They now feel a lot different than they did in the form they were introduced in Siege of the Atlas. Their downsides now feel more impactful, and they have more diversity of rewards, including new rewards. The intention is to fulfill the
Slot
original
resist.
design goal of having an ultimatum-like choice about whether you want to accept additional challenge for additional reward.
Yeah, it's true. They
We've
didn't
added
really do
better
much
Atlas
before
tree support for them,
in the
including
previous
2
league.
keystones that can affect them.
Really?
We've also rebalanced the drop weightings of the new Pinnacle Atlas bosses, changing the relative drop weightings of their unique rewards and making them more likely to drop Eldritch currency.
Okay.
Currently, in Siege of the Atlas, Elder and Shaper Scarabs are basically worthless because their influence is worse than the free influence you can get from the Eater of Worlds and the Searing Exarch.
Yeah, true that.
In Sentinel, you can now apply multiple types of influence to one map, so you could have Eater of Worlds influence alongside
really?
a Shaper or Elder Scarab on a Conqueror map.
That's good
Together,
though.
these 3 influences combined have a very large effect on that map,
Yeah.
and this will make Elder and Shaper Scarabs significantly more desirable.
Better than what we had before, that's
The
for
start
sure.
point of encountering Shaper, Elder, or Conqueror influence and influence items has been raised to level 81 areas.
You see that?
We've
Yeah.
also fixed an issue that was causing some players to skip playing most of the contents of maps. On the lower half of the Atlas passive tree, there were a lot of small skills that granted a 2% chance for the map boss to drop an additional map. This meant that it was possible to sustain maps by rushing to those bosses and ignoring every other monster in the map. We've retained the overall bonus, but have changed it so the map drops from a random monster within the map rather than the boss.
Alright, alright. Cool, cool, cool. I never did that, so I don't care.
We're also addressing an issue with the way that you acquire Maven boss fight invitations. Currently, it's possible that you get hit with a bad streak of RNG
Yeah.
and haven't found an invitation by the time you have enough bosses witnessed.
I remember doing
You can
something
now
like
purchase these invitations from
15
Kirak for a
maps
moderate price
with
if
no
you need to.
invitation. It was insane. Like, I was 10 out of 10, and then I was like another, like,
At
I
the
was
launch
25
of the
on
Siege of
10.
the
I
Atlas
just couldn't find
expansion,
one.
we hosted
It was
a
like
competition that saw
insane.
players racing to be the first to kill Path of Exile's pinnacle bosses.
They were like,
in
you know,
hardcore
just buy
solo
one. I'm like, no, I
self-help
wanted
mode.
to see it drop.
The main prize for doing so was the ability to collaborate with us on the design of a unique item that would drop from a boss in Path of Exile's endgame. 5 of these uniques have been designed so far and will be featured in this expansion. The 6th one will be released once the winner has time to design it, very likely in 3.19.
Okay.
Call of the Void is a new cold-themed ring that was designed by Lighty and will drop from the Uber Elder. It causes all damage to chill and causes chilled enemies to shatter on death, as though they were frozen. On top of this, chilled enemies deal less damage back to you based on the magnitude of the chill affecting them. The only drawback is that all incoming damage also chills you, but there are many ways to mitigate this, and in some cases it's beneficial to builds that utilize self-chill as part of some crazy combo. This ring is useful for a wide variety
Good
of
old
different
Path of
endgame
Exile, huh?
builds. Echoes of Creation is a new unique helmet, also
Right.
designed by Lighty, which will drop from the Shaper. It's designed for builds that use Warcries and grants an extra
Plus
use
1
before cooldown to
cooldown.
Warcry skills that are socketed in the helmet. It also grants more damage to exerted attacks based on the number of Warcries affecting them, but causes you to take damage when you use these attacks.
Oh,
The
it
self-damage
also
number
looks
looks
pretty
really
cool.
scary, but it can be mitigated by various mechanics such as armor, endurance charges, and life recovery.
Jesus Christ.
This
that
powerful
damage.
niche helmet is ideal for characters that try to use as many Warcries as they can.
I never
The third Lighty
played that.
unique being introduced is the Burden of Truth, a unique belt which will drop from Cyrus. Broadly speaking, this belt encourages you to have healthy energy shield and life pulse and helps you to
Supreme
achieve this by
Decadence?
granting you additional energy shield based on a percentage of your maximum life value.
Interesting.
The belt both lets some portion of chaos damage hit your energy shield, but also causes some non-chaos damage to bypass your energy shield, like
Gotcha.
it was chaos damage.
Yeah.
This is often an upside because splitting damage over both life and energy shield lets you recover both simultaneously.
True.
The
True.
Supreme Decadence keystone that this belt grants, which is previously restricted to timeless jewels, causes your
What is
life
that?
flasks to apply to both your life and energy shield at a reduced rate.
Oh, I didn't know
Overall,
that.
this belt
Okay.
is extremely powerful for characters who can build to have a decent energy shield pool while also using life flasks appropriately. The 4th new item that we're featuring today was created by Waggle. It's an amulet called the Eternal Struggle, which will drop from either the Infinite Hunger or the Black Star. The amulet has a pair of Eldritch mods, and the one that is dominant will be based on which of the bosses dropped it. The dominant mod also controls whether the amulet gives a Malignant Madness or Culling Strike bonus. You'll need to work out which of the 2 bosses to farm based on which half of the amulet you want to activate.
Interesting.
The final unique we're showcasing today was designed by Steel Mage. It's a unique jewel that drops from the Maven. The jewel refers to a random keystone on your passive skill tree and enables you to be able to allocate passives within a radius around that keystone without them being connected to the rest of the tree. While the keystone itself cannot be allocated, this jewel allows you to jump across great distances on the passive tree in a very skilled point efficient way.
That sounds insane.
In addition to these uniques that have come from the boss kill competition, we have added new unique items to the Uber Pinnacle boss fights that can be accessed through some of the new keystone passives. These include a different variation of Thread of Hope that can drop from Uber Cyrus, a new unique jewel which can drop from the Uber Shaper, and special Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh jewels which can roll exclusive Ascendancy notable passives that are not available
Or
anywhere
skills
else
are
in the
disabled, except Wrath.
You'll notice that our last endgame expansion was just 3 months ago, and we're already extending the endgame even further.
That's what I said.
This is our plan for every expansion leading up to the release of Path of Exile 2. Rather than having a much bigger annual expansion, we plan to add as many endgame improvements into each quarterly expansion as we can, alongside its new challenge league, so that there are new challenges to overcome every time you come back to Path of Exile.
I'm down with that. Sounds like a good idea, man.
One of the subtle but important aspects of our plan is to keep adding powerful new chase rewards to Path of Exile's endgame, so that there are always new reasons to complete aspirational content. The boss kill competitions are great because they not only create these rewards, but also immortalize the achievements of some of Path of Exile's best players.
Yeah, this looks insane.
We're going to run another boss kill competition at the
Oh
launch
my
of Sentinel.
god, bullet hell.
This time, players will have to defeat the Uber versions of boss fights that are unlocked by the special keystone passives. We'll post full information in the lead up to release.
That looks insane.
We're going to try something new with character balance in this expansion.
Oh?
We're intentionally making no changes to character power. That means no nerfs, no buffs, nothing. Every single build and build guide made for Siege of the Atlas will work exactly the same in Sentinel.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
You can start planning your league starter right now, with full confidence about exactly how it's going to play. However, build exploration is still required in 3.18. Sentinel introduces many difficult challenges, both in the Challenge League itself and in the endgame content, and you're going to have to work out a plan to create characters that are able to handle this content. But at this release, you can hit the ground running, knowing with confidence which builds are a good starting point for you.
Yeah.
We don't intend to do this character balance freeze every release. For example, 3.19 definitely contains planned changes to character balance. Even though there are no character balance changes in 3.18 though, we have still made some changes to actual game content. For example, let's talk about the changes to monster modifiers. Magic and rare monsters in Path of Exile get a lot of their power from their modifiers. We came up with the majority of the monster mods over a decade ago, and only substantially added to them with the introduction of the Nemesis and Bloodlines leagues in 2013 and 2014. These mods are unfortunately showing their age. Many of them are unimpactful, and it's quite hard to quickly read their descriptions in the heat of combat. What we need is a new set of mods that are highly impactful in combat, keyworded with 1 to 2 colored words that are easy to read at a glance, and capable of producing dangerous combinations. This is exactly what we designed the Arch Nemesis mods to be, a replacement for the core monster mod pool. From 3.18 onwards, all previous monster mods have been replaced by Arch Nemesis mods. No other part of the Arch Nemesis League has been retained, so there's no more inventory or recipe management.
Thank God.
Magic monsters have one Arch Nemesis mod shared across their pack.
Yeah, that's what I noticed,
typically have 2 mods.
That's what I noticed.
It's possible to encounter rare monsters with 3 or even 4 Arch Nemesis mods on them. Combinations of multiple synergistic mods can create quite interesting situations in combat.
Can you get some of the crazy ones?
For example, if you encounter a monster with both Storm Strider and Ice Prison, the Ice Prison may block you off so that you are more likely to run into the Lightning Mirages from the Storm Strider mod.
Yep.
We've done a balance pass over the Arch Nemesis mods before making them core. Some have certainly had their power reduced, particularly when applied to magic monsters. We have also changed how monster experience and drops are calculated, so it's now far more about the difficulty of the mods than about the proportional size of the monster. Various Nemesis and Bloodlines modifiers that were not represented in the Arch Nemesis mod pool have been added in different ways.
That's a good idea because the Arch Nemesis League
sucks. Has remained the same for the last 21
so
leagues.
it's a good way to like
we had a look at whether there were any easy ways we could
get them in without the recipes and all that bullshit.
Our plan is to retain the model of 40 challenges with rewards that unlock as you progress through them, but with a goal of providing substantially more challenge to endgame players and substantially more rewards to go with it, of course. In order to achieve this, we've crunched down the easier challenges so that the first reward unlocks after only 6 and the second at 12. These are equivalent in difficulty to 12 and 24 challenges from the old system, respectively.
Nice.
This change gives us a lot more space to ramp up to some incredibly difficult challenges towards the end.
Yeah, let's
take a lot
go.
of time and skill to complete. complete.
This is gonna please
There are now
both
10
the
different
casuals
rewards
and
you
the
can
hardcore
unlock, which
players.
comprise 2 complete armor sets, each with a pair of wings.
Wow,
But be
really?
warned, the challenges you must complete are much, much harder than any that we have ever set you before. We've been
Wow,
experimenting with
that's
support
crazy,
for game
though.
controllers on the PC version of Path of Exile. During the Arch Nemesis League, we began a beta for controller support and have been making improvements
It looks
based
so
on your
weird.
suggestions and feedback.
Holy shit.
We're pleased to announce that controller support on PC will officially launch alongside the Sentinel expansion. This
looks
also means
so
that Path
weird.
of Exile is now fully playable on the Steam Deck for those of you who are lucky
Oh.
enough to have one so far.
Well, that's a good idea, actually. Okay, you know what? This is actually a good idea. That's actually pretty cool.
Alongside finishing controller support for PC, we've also done a push on various small quality of life features in this
Such as?
expansion, which we'll reveal over the coming days.
Ah.
An example is that you can now choose whether your hideout portals can be accessed by one of 4 options: everyone, your
Nice.
friends, your guild members, or no one.
Perfect. That's
We've
awesome.
also improved how favored maps are selected on the Atlas. Rather than having to click on the map on the Atlas for every slot, you can instead click
that's
one
cool.
of your existing favorite
Nice.
maps to quickly
Good
copy
change,
it to
good
the new
change.
slot.
Yeah, absolutely.
This makes it a lot faster to favor many instances of the same map at once.
Very cool, very cool. Nice.
There are plenty more small QOL features crammed
That's
into
good.
Sentinel, and we'll cover these over the week leading up to release.
That's perfect.
Early in the Arch Nemesis,
Oh yeah,
we
the
debuted
battle
Carrick's
pass.
Bolt pass. Purchasing this pass grants you access to Carrick's Bolt, where you can claim
Which was very
exclusive
strange. You
unique
only
item
have
skins
one
as you
item
complete
out of
map
everything.
bonus
Like
objectives
my
in the
build
Atlas
wasn't
game.
using any of
The
these.
Vault Pass for the Arch Nemesis League is only available for a few more days and will leave the store forever when this league ends.
Forever.
There's
Buy
no
now.
penalty for purchasing the pass late in the league after you've wrapped up your map completion. So if you are pleased with where you got to in Arch Nemesis and want to lock in your unique skins, it's not too late.
I think
to
we
buy
wanted
the
like
pass
more
now.
universal, like
Thank you to everyone who
empty
unlocked Carrick's
access.
Vault. We had a lot of fun putting it together and trying to think of fun ways that unique item skins can interact with gameplay in a visual way. The purchases directly fund development of both Path of Exile
That's good.
1 and 2.
Are we getting a new
A
battle
brand new
pass?
Vault Pass will launch alongside the Sentinel League. Like the previous one, there are 8 exclusive unique item skins that can be unlocked as you complete map
Ah
bonus
shit, they're
objectives.
still not doing universal stuff,
We'll
huh?
post full details on these new rewards closer to launch. To buy either the Arch Nemesis Pass now, before it leaves
Because
the
again,
store
in the
forever,
previous pass,
or
like there was
Sentinel
nothing I
One
was
when the
gonna use.
expansion
I think it was
launches,
just like the
go to
flask, I believe. But
pathofexile.com/vault.
besides that,
Alongside today's live stream, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Arcanist and Reaper packs.
the usual.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available during the Sentinel League and will leave the store forever in 3 months.
Forever. Buy
Every
it now.
microtransaction you're about to see is entirely cosmetic and does not affect your character's progression or power.
Yeah, we know. Which is
The
good.
Arcanist
That's
pack
perfect.
series contains 7 exclusive microtransactions.
Portal?
The Cloak of Elements indicates the power of your fire, cold, and lightning resistances on your back. When a resistance is capped, the effect is extra strong.
Oh, wow, that's actually really cool. Wow.
While wearing
That's
the Ring
very
of the Black
nice.
Star, your level up effect looks like this.
Damn.
In the Timekeeper's hideout, you can use the Chronosphere to change the time of day from dawn to noon.
Okay, that's
to
what it
dusk to
is.
night.
Nice. Yeah, these are some good ideas, man. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. A bit more different, you know, a bit more unique. They're actually pretty nice.
With Chevron's tome on your belt, identifying items will cause exploding books to appear nearby.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. Let's go.
The Mage Blue map device blossoms with greater intensity as you open higher tier maps.
Oh shit. I like this. This is very good. This is very interesting. This is very
With the
cool.
soul-stunning weapon effect attached to your weapon, any attacks that stun will cause your enemies to have an out-of-body experience.
This could be even better visually. You can actually see what's going on a bit
Drinking from
better.
The searing Quicksilver flask causes an explosion and sets your character on fire.
Nice.
The Reaper Pack series also has 7 exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. The Soul Harvester's Cloak's power is based on the number of enemies your character has killed.
Damn. I like this
With the
interactable
belt of the
stuff.
Hive Queen equipped,
Upgradable
flasks you
stuff.
use will cause blood-sucking insects to appear all over your character.
Ew.
The
Sick.
Ghostlit Graveyard is a hideout where you can control the color of its torches.
Nice.
It also comes with 6 exclusive hideout decorations.
This is such a great idea, man. I love it. This is good.
Medidrone will follow you around and use a healing beam on you whenever you're gaining life. Thanks, Medidrone.
Nice.
The Underworld portal opens a gateway to Hell. Its effect upgrades in Part 2 and
Oh,
again in maps,
shit.
where it indicates what tier of map you're playing.
Wow. Soul's trying to escape. Nice.
While wearing the Ring of the Exorcist, any spells you cast will exorcise the ghosts of your enemies if you crit. While using the Grim Reaper apparition, the Reaper will appear and cull any unique or rare enemies you slay. As I mentioned before, these packs are exclusive to the Sentinel League and will leave the store in 3 months. They're available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase.
This is an excellent idea.
Fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 expansions like Sentinel.
Yep.
We greatly appreciate your support.
This is a good job on this. I'm actually
Thanks for joining us and checking
surprised
out today's reveals.
there.
We can't wait to see you in Rayclast on May 13th. We'll begin the Q&A in a few moments, so please get your questions ready in chat.
Cool. That's it, right? You know what? I never had any interest in the previous packs because, okay, you get like an armor and you get like a pet or something. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna use it for 3 months. I'm gonna get a new one. But these upgradable armors and stuff and the spells looking differently and whatnot, that's a freaking good idea. This, I think people will be much more interested in this than just like your regular, you get like different portals or like you get like different wings, you know, like it's always the same story, right? So something like this feels much more up to date with the current gaming world, you know, and maybe even like it leads the gaming world because this is some really cool stuff. Upgradable microtransactions, I think a lot of people will be down with that. That's very cool. That's very cool. A lot of like, once again, a lot of like great changes, a ton of content, a new end game, new Atlas, not new Atlas, but like new Atlas passives, bunch of new uniques. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. There, once again, every single this is the reason why I check out these trailers because every single one they're adding so much more to the game. There's so many more companies out there that could learn from this, you know. There's so many companies out there that release like an update like every like 6 months and it's like straight garbage. Like it's nothing. It's just microtransactions. These guys they add so much to the game. So obviously they have my full support and I try to spend as much money, well not as much money, but I try to spend money every league depending what I'm playing and what kind of like skills I want and whatnot. Just like change it up a bit and at the same time support the game because it's a really good cause. I mean these guys have been putting out what's the best ARPG at the moment on the market, and probably gonna stay like this for a while. Even though Diablo 4 coming out, I think this is still gonna like remain king pretty much among this type of gameplay. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys. Peace.